Guys, if you like making money, which I know you do not want to miss this one. In today's episode, we are discussing marketing, and I'm so excited about this, guys. This is the first part of a 9-part series. We're going from episode 51 all the way to episode 59. Now, I think the first four, have already been recorded, and it's going through the editing process right now. But all of the episodes are going to be out before the end of August. So we're going to be putting out 3 or 4 of these every week. Now, for this first part, we're going to be talking about mindset. And for the second part, which is the next episode, we're going to be talking about sales. And I'm going to break down for you guys how to properly do a sales pitch and how to create sales impulse. Now, those two things are very important because guess what, guys? Without the right mindset and without knowing how to sell, getting customers is not really going to be able to help you all of that much. So this series is geared towards helping you be able to have a consistent flow of customers in your business. But in order for you to make that happen, you got to understand that there's a right mindset that needs to take place before you can get there. Now, in terms of this part 1, the mindset, guys, there's 2 things I want to talk about. Number 1 is customer mindset, and number 2, we're going to talk about your mindset and the mindset that you need to be able to grow your business. Now, when I talk about customer mindset, this is going to be very quick. This is actually very important because in our last episode that we're going to do in episode 59, we're going to be talking about target marketing and how you can hone in and specifically go after certain clients. This is very important because when I first started my business, I just wanted customers, right? And I didn't understand that there is such a thing as, you know, not all customers are created equal. And that there is a customer that gives you a lot of value and there's a customer that doesn't. And then that's what we're talking about now. I want you guys to understand that I want to coach you guys on being able to acquire the customer that you need. Not necessarily the customer that you want, but the customer that you need in order to grow your business, invest in your business, and have money left over to be able to go on vacations and things of that nature. So, you know, you got to understand something. When we talk about customer mindset, right? What I've learned in this business is this. The right type of customer for your business, that customer is going to help you grow. Because that customer is going to be able to provide you with a nice little profit with every job that you do. These customers are the ones that are going to give you awesome tips. I've had customers, I've gotten $600 in a day in tips. I've had customers give me $300 extra in tips, $200, $100. And pretty much when I'm in the field full time, I'm picking up between $300 to $400 a week in tips because of some of these customers. So great customers give you good tips. They give you great customer reviews on Google. And also, really great customers, what they do for you is they refer you to other people. So, again, I want you guys to understand this is the type of customer that you want to attract for your business. And I want you to understand the mindset of these customers. Number 1, these customers, guess what, guys? They're not really that concerned about money. So what happens is when you're new, you see a really nice neighborhood and you think to yourself, oh, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be the cheap guy because wealthy people, rich people, they're cheap and they're looking for the guy with the cheapest price. That is not true. This is some kind of paradigm that you have from maybe when you were a kid. You thought that this is how rich people, maybe you heard somebody say that rich people are cheap. In my experience over an 11-year period, this is not the case. My experience is that people that have a certain level of income, and let's say, you know, these are people living in neighborhoods where their houses are $500,000 to $600,000 and up. These people, the number one thing that they value the most is their time, and not necessarily the money. I mean, the money might be a priority for them, but there's a bunch of other things that they find more important. So rich people, they're so busy all the time. They're running businesses, they're entrepreneurs, some of them are CEOs, and they just don't have the time to deal with, you know, homeowners. They'll typically take, you know, anywhere between 4 to 8 hours or more. I've heard homeowners say that it's taking them 3 days to pressure wash their whole house and driveway and stuff. So because they don't have the skill, the access to equipment and chemicals like we do. So therefore, what they value is their time. You have to understand that, because when you go, you know, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to get these customers, right? When you go to talk to some of these customers, if you lowball them, they're going to look at you like you're not a professional, like you're a beginner. And this is not a good thing. You want to make sure that your pricing, I've often mentioned this on my videos, like, your price for a house wash should not be less than $250. I don't care where you are in the country. Because if you give pricing that is very low, you're going to attract bottom feeder type customers. You're never going to be able to attract these type of customers that I'm talking about. So again, remember, these customers, what they're worried about is value. They value their time over money. The most important thing to them is time, and you're helping them save time. And number two, what I've noticed from the people that are very successful, that hire us, their mindset is they're hiring us because we give them peace of mind, right? That's why they go. I'll give you guys a great example. We just did this job about a month ago. This woman, and actually, man, I wish I remember what episode it was. I actually recorded in this woman's house. It was a $699 wash. I downstreamed the house. And she had told me that a couple months, like in the beginning of the spring, they had a company go out there. It was like a handyman or like a jack of all trades type. Charged her $250 to do her house. She was very, very unsatisfied with the work. She thought it was cheap, and she was unsatisfied with the work. She called us a couple months later. We went there, $699, and she said to me, she goes, "That's why I went with you guys. I knew it was more expensive, but I wanted to make sure that it was done professionally." So again, that's the main concern of these people, of these type of customers that you're going to attract when you go out to do sales pitches and you go out to talk to these people. Remember, the price is not their number one concern. They want to value their time. You're helping them save time. And number two, you're giving them the peace of mind to know that they're hiring a true professional. Okay, it's very important, guys. Like I said in the beginning, you're not going to be able to grow your business if you are not attracting the right type of customer. That's why we need to make sure we structure your business properly, because you know, when you start growing and you start acquiring more knowledge out in the field, you're going to want to be able to increase your profits, and you can only do that by making sure you grow the right way with the right type of people. Okay, so now we understand the mindset of the customer that we are trying to attract, that they value time and they want peace of mind. Now let's focus on your mindset, and there's 7-8 things I want to talk about here, guys. The number one thing is I want you to understand that it takes an entrepreneurial mindset, right? And this is very important, because all of us, including myself, I came from an employee background. I had a job before I started my own company. But there is a big, I mean, a massive difference between having an employee mindset and having an entrepreneur mindset. Employees, now, I could do a whole video on employee mindset, and this is not really a self-help type channel, right? It is self-help in a sense that we're geared towards the pressure washing side, pressure washing business, right? But this is very important, because if you come into this business, this industry, with an employee mindset, I promise you will not get very far, guys. You will not get very far, because when you boil it down to its very essence, okay, employees, they crave two things, okay? Two things. Employees, they want comfort, and they also want security. Now, not everybody fits that mold, but this is like the majority of employees. What they want is comfort. They don't want to do too much. They want to make a lot of money and not have too much to do. And they want security. They want all the benefits and all of that stuff. So most employees, again, that's an employee mindset. That's what they care about the most. Now, entrepreneurs, when you boil down everything that is an entrepreneur, there's two main things that all entrepreneurs have. They have what entrepreneurs want more than anything is they want to grow and they want freedom. You see how those two things are opposite of what an employee wants. Because guess what? To grow, you have to put yourself in a position of, man, you're going to be dealing with a lot of headaches, a lot of stress. That's the opposite of comfort. You see what I'm saying? Growth comes from pain. You're going to have to go through a lot of struggles to be able to grow. But entrepreneurs, they love growth. They love dealing with adversity, whereas employees don't. Employees, after they punch out, they go home. They're not focused. They're not worried about what's going on at the workplace. They're not worried that, you know, somebody can break in there and steal all the equipment. They're not even thinking about work when they leave the job. You see what I'm saying? But entrepreneurs, we never have the luxury of being able to turn that off because our mindset is always geared towards growing. Entrepreneurs want to grow, and then the other thing is they want to have freedom for themselves. They want to provide financial freedom, not just for themselves, but for the people around them. They want to be able to be free with their time, to go on vacation whenever they want, to be able to go on, you know, wherever they want on vacation, that sort of thing. And guess what? Freedom is the opposite of security, because now you have to go chase down your own money, your own success. You see what I'm saying? So those two things are complete opposites of each other, guys. Now, I had to establish this sort of mindset and understand that I needed to make that shift. You see what I'm saying? Some of you guys that are listening to this right now, you're an employee. You work at a company, right? But you want to grow and you want to be free and you want to do all these things. Well, guess what? You have an entrepreneur spirit while you're an employee. And usually two things will happen if you're like this and you're an employee. Either one, if you want to stay in that company and you have that sort of mindset, that growth mindset, that freedom mindset, you're going to take over that company. You're going to become the CEO, the manager. You're going to be the guy, the head honcho in charge, because you're so different from everyone around you that you're going to be able to basically run things in that company. Or you're going to run that. You're going to leave that company and become an entrepreneur, which is what I did. And guess what? When I was an employee, I was a manager. I was a store manager. So because I always had that mindset, it was very easy for me to grow in the employee arena. You see what I'm saying? But my bottom line for you guys is this. You need to understand that you cannot grow your business. You're not going to be able to attract the right type of customer. You're not going to be able to grow and have, you know, tons of work for yourself if you don't have an entrepreneur mindset. You have to let go of that employee mindset when you're running your own business, okay? And that segues real nice into the next one, number 2 on this list. You have to have a growth mindset when we're talking about marketing. You have to, from the very beginning when I first started my business, guys, guess what? My focus was not to make money. It wasn't even on my mind, to be honest with you. My mindset was always like, I wanted to have more houses to do so I could grow. Because when we're talking about growth, I'm not just talking about marketing and getting more customers. I'm not just talking about growing your bank account. I'm not just talking about growing your business. I'm talking about you personally growing as a person. So, you know, out in the field, I've always mentioned this, you need to have skill, you need to have chemical knowledge and equipment, right? Well, the chemical knowledge and the skill, you have to grow in that arena. And if you're watching this or if you're listening to this video, you know, you're already on that path of growth. And, you know, from when I started my business, I was saying that I guess my attitude was not one of, hey, let me get these customers so I can get a lot of money. That's just not how I thought of it. The way I thought of it was, the more customers that I got, the more skill I was going to become in the field, because I wanted to do 200-300 houses. Like, that was my first idea that I put in my mind. I was like, man, I want to go out there and watch 200-300 houses in order for me to have more experience. So I wasn't focused on the money. I was focused on growing and developing myself. This mindset is going to be very important if you want to grow your business and have an effective marketing campaign. And number 3 on this list, talking about customer, you have to make sure that the center of your business is customers. Okay, the focus of your business is customers. You know, when I first started my business, I was always coming up with different ways to get customers. Like I've thought of dozens and dozens and dozens of ways, and I put them into motion, and whatever. If it didn't work, I would jump onto something else. But my mindset from the very beginning was always, let me focus on the customer. And what I mean by that is not just acquiring new customers, but also taking excellent care of the customers that I have. This is very important because down the line, you know, we're going to be talking about referrals and things of that nature. Guys, you have your entire business has to center around taking excellent care of the customers that you have. Your whole business has to be focused in the sense of, like, you want to make sure you have good customer service, that you're picking up the phone, that you're sending out receipts, that you have a good your billing is on point. Like all of those things, you know, you want to be able to have good communication with your customers. Your business, the focus of your business has to be your customers, because they're the ones that are going to push your marketing out there for you. Number 4, this is going to help with that customer-centric focus. Number 4, attention to detail. Now, I mentioned this briefly. You know, the best type of customer that you can get, in my opinion, when we talk about high quality of customers, is the best kind is referrals. Like we've noticed through the years, man, when somebody calls and says, oh yeah, my coworker told me to call you guys, or hey, yeah, you did my sister's house last year and I want to get mine done now. What happens is that's a high quality lead because they already know the quality of the service that you are offering, so they're willing to pay a little bit more because they know what they're paying for. You see what I'm saying here? So in order for you to be able to get a lot of referrals when it comes to a marketing campaign, you want to make sure that you pay attention to detail when you're out in the field. You got to do high quality work. You know, when I'm doing a job, guys, I'm doing multiple walkthroughs throughout the property. I'm making sure that, you know, hey, did I get all the stains behind those bushes, right? So you got bushes right there and there's siding right there. And guess what? Sometimes customers will walk back there. And if it's green and black there because you didn't even pay attention to what's behind the bushes, that you're not paying attention to the details. Or let's say you're doing a deck and you don't move the furniture around. Well, guess what's going to happen when the customer goes grilling or something and they move the grill, and then it's all green and black because you weren't paying attention to detail. You were being lazy. You see what I'm saying? So paying attention to detail goes hand in hand with developing your skill and yourself out in the field. So make sure you pay attention to that. Next, so this is what we're talking about. Number 5, marketing and networking. Now, I've talked about these two in great detail in my other videos and some of my episodes, but you have to have a marketing strategy for your business, and that's why my purpose for this channel, really, and also, you know, that's why I created this series, is so you can have a really sound foundation when it comes to marketing. But marketing is only going to happen if you actually put a plan in place to be able to pick up more customers. Like, for example, you should have a budget. You should write down, hey, this is where my marketing is going to be. Like, for example, I have a marketing blueprint for new guys, okay? And when I say new guys, anyone that's been in a business under 3 years, to me, is a new guy. So I have a marketing blueprint, and I can email you that. And that marketing blueprint has 4 things on it. If you master all 4 of those things as a new guy, that right there is going to give you 75 to 100 houses a month. As a new guy, you don't need more than that. That's a lot of work for you to start and for you to develop yourself. So, and I will email you that. All you got to do is email me. You can find my email in the description below, and I will email you that marketing blueprint for you to copy, for you to succeed in your company. Now, and then networking, I've mentioned this a lot. Guys, a big part of what we do as a company and how we've been able to succeed is by networking with other companies, other groups. Like we go to these, we network through the Chamber of Commerce. I think I've mentioned them dozens of times on my channel. We network through the Better Business Bureau. We network through a couple Facebook groups that we actually meet in you know, in the real world. And then we also network with companies. Like every time I have a job, like somebody wanted the other day, for example, they had a huge problem with pests. So we send them our bug guy that we network, and then that guy sends us work. A woman the other day, she's selling her house, she needed a landscaper, so we gave her the number of the guy that we recommend to everybody, and he gets us work, we get him work. You see what I'm saying about networking? That's very important. So make sure that you have a marketing plan for your business, and again, I'll send you that strategy. Just email me, and then make sure that you're networking, and most of the networking things that you're going to do, they're either free or extremely low cost. Number 6 on my list, guys, continuous learning. You have to have a student mentality if you're going to make it in this business in general. But in terms of creating a successful marketing strategy for your company, guys, you're going to have to consistently be learning new things, not just out in the field, but like you guys are already on this path, right? You're already on an awesome path because you're watching this video, you're listening to this video, and I recommend you guys go back to my episode 1. Episode 1 is where I break down like our rig and all of that, and then start watching from there, because in every single one of my episodes, guys, there's some nugget in there. Whether it's marketing, sales, administration, or operations, there's some nugget in there that you're going to be able to learn to be able to develop yourself in this business. And this is very important because this business, guys, guess what? It's nothing but like a big process of elimination. You go through, you know, you try this, that didn't work. You try something else, well, okay, that didn't work. You try something else. That's how everybody learns. You learn by trial and error. So always be learning. Buy books, watch videos, listen to podcasts, you know. Always be taking notes and all of that stuff. And then the last thing I'll say about that is coaching and mentorship. I do coach a lot of guys in the industry. If you're interested in that, just email me. But I recommend you guys take a coach. Hire somebody to be your coach, because that's not something that I had available to me when I started. And guys, I made way too many mistakes. What it took me 7 years to achieve, I could have done in 3 if I would have had somebody that I could have gone to for advice. So I highly recommend you guys take on a coach. Number 7, problem solving. And this is where a coach would come in handy, because you guys, you're going to run into a lot of things. I mean, I've mentioned this, I don't even know how many times now. This business has so many moving parts. You don't really understand until you go into it full time. Anyone who does this business full time will tell you the same thing. There are so many moving parts in this business. And the main reason is because we're dealing with toxic chemicals, right? Corrosive chemicals. So there's a lot of things on the maintenance end. There's a lot of things that need to happen when you're not out there washing in order for you to be able to get out there and wash. That's the bottom line. So you have to become a master problem solver. And the thing I recommend to you guys the most on that is make sure you are absolutely devouring information. You know, watch as many videos as you can, because a lot of times in those videos, people will tell you some of the problems they ran into and how they dealt with it. Like, for example, I'll give you a great example. You know, in my first, I want to say my first 3 years and a bit, no, it was like my second year, I want to say, I doused this car. This guy had a car in his driveway. It was a black car. It was brand new. It was only like 3 or 4 months old. And it was parked right close to the house, and I doused it with chemical, not even thinking about what I was doing. I just, like a big old knucklehead, I just sprayed this house, this black car with chemical, thinking I could just rinse it off. In the end, nope. My sauce ate up that paint, guys. And now I solved that problem by creating a system for myself. Now whenever I go to a house and there's a car in the driveway, that car has to be moved. You should not and do not spray chemical on people's cars. So you see what I'm saying? So you can learn that mistake from me, so you don't make it yourself, because that was a very expensive mistake. I had to pay for that guy to get his car repainted. I don't want that happening to you. And so there's a lot of things like that that you'll learn from people, and they will help you in a problem-solving arena. Okay, and now the last thing that I want to say on this about this having the proper mindset, guys, is you need to make sure that when it comes to marketing, you have a long-term vision. Okay, that's very important, because some of you guys are very like, you want everything to happen overnight, and I'm sorry to tell you guys, it just doesn't happen that way. I remember, for example, the great example is Google My Business. Google My Business, it takes about 1 to 3 years for it to really start to pop for you. You know, because there's a lot of things in there in terms of SEO and all of that, and we are doing a whole episode on it, so don't worry about that. But the bottom line is, branding takes a long time for you to get your name out there. You need to go to events. You need to have a lot of marketing. You need to make sure that you get your name out there. Like, for example, you see our shirts, right? Everywhere I go here in town, people call me Mr. Bubbles. I don't even know. It's been so many years. I don't think anyone around in my area even knows my name, because everybody just calls me Mr. Bubbles. Wherever I go, I always wear my shirt. If I go to a networking event, if I go to the movies, if I go to the restaurant, if I go to Lowe's, wherever I go, I have about 20 of these shirts, and I always wear these shirts. Why? Because it's branding. My cars, my trucks, my marketing vehicles, everything is wrapped. This is what branding is. But guess what? I didn't have, man, my first 3-4 years, all I had was a little magnet on my truck. So it was something that I built as the years went on, got some of the money and reinvested it back in my business. So the point is, some of the marketing things that I do, like, for example, you know, we've talked about this in other episodes, the HOA contracts, right? I can coach you guys up on being able to acquire HOA contracts, but I didn't do that until my 7th year. My 7th year in business was when I got my first HOA contract. You see what I'm saying, guys? So you got to have the long-term vision. When I first started in this business, my goal, I had 3 goals, guys. My first goal was I wanted to retire at 50. I'm 46. I just turned 46, actually, in May. My second goal was to have the biggest pressure washing business in all of Southern Maryland. I'm still not there. I'm still working on that. You see what I'm saying? And then the third thing is, I wanted to be able to create financial freedom for myself. But if you notice, those 3 goals, guys, they're not goals that I was going to be able to achieve in a day or two. I'm in my 11th season now. I'm 4 years away from being 50, right? So that means I will have put in 15 years for me to achieve that goal of retiring by 50. So make sure that you have a long-term vision for your business, for yourself, long-term goals. And that's going to help you with marketing, because it's going to change the way that you do business, because you're going to value your customers more. Guys, you got to understand, this is not some hokey internet guru type stuff that I'm telling you. If you do not have the right mindset, because I hear this in a comment section all the time. All the time I hear stuff like, oh, you got that driveway for how much? Oh, where I live, no, you wouldn't have been able to even get it for 50 bucks. I get emails like that all the time as well. The problem is, if you think that way, it's because you do not have the right mindset yet. And that is the purpose of this marketing series, is for you guys to be able to have all the tools and all the weapons you need to be able to grow your business. Because guess what? Guess what, guys? In your area, there's a company, maybe 2 or 3 companies, that they're charging double, if not triple, what you guys are charging. There's a company in my area that's very successful. They have about 30 trucks. They have 50, 60 employees. They're one of the biggest pressure washing companies in the country. They're in my area. They're 45 minutes away from me. And I ran into the owner at a networking event. He told me he doesn't touch a house wash for less than 800 bucks. I was like, wow, $800. I mean, he'll do a 1,500 square foot house, 800 bucks. Like, wow. You see what I'm saying? I mean, there's so much money to be made in this business. But if you think in your mind, I'm going to leave you with this. Whatever you think, you will create. Remember that. So if you think you can't get certain pricing, you're right. You're right. You can't get prices like that in your area because you've put that into your mind. So you need to put into your mind, I'm going to grow. Imagine for a second that your business is $1 million company, that you've invested $1 million of your personal money into building your company. You're going to go out there and do work for nothing, for cheap? Of course not. So go out there every day with that mentality like you already run a multi-million-dollar company. And you will be able to grow your company if, only if, you have the right mindset. That's all I got for you guys today. I really appreciate you watching this episode on how to grow your pressure washing business. I highly recommend you watch the next one as well. Guys, in that episode, which is actually part 2 of the marketing series, this was part 1, we're going to be talking about sales and impulse factors and things that you need to know to be able to close that customer that you're going to get. And as I mentioned before, I love it when you guys email me. I talked about that, the marketing blueprint. Email me. My email is in the description below, and I will send you that gladly so you can grow your business. And I answer all of my emails. I love hearing from you guys. But yeah, that's all I got. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.